Hi, authors. My name is Jennifer Carr, and I'm here to help you write more realistically through psychology. As both a marriage and family counselor, as well as a former high school AP psychology teacher, I have insider information that can help you write better stories and more relatable characters. One of the most popular characters of classic mythology is Narcissus. He was the son of a river god and a nymph. According to the stories, Narcissus was exceedingly beautiful, and it was much to his demise. His mother had been told by a seer that as long as Narcissus didn't recognize himself, he would live a long life. While Greek and Roman mythology ascribe him different admirers, the outcome of his rejection of them was the same. The gods became angry and took vengeance on Narcissus. They coordinated his demise by allowing him to see his own reflection in the waters of a spring, and he fell so deeply in love with the man he saw reflected back at him that he literally loved himself to death. He pined his life away over the unrequited love of his object of desire, himself. A very common theme in literature is that of narcissism, which is a term Sigmund Freud derived from the story of Narcissus. Freud defined narcissism as adoration one accords themselves in light of them being an object of desire. Over the years, psychology has expounded on the definition, and the common understanding of narcissism now ranges from excessive interest in or admiration of oneself and one's physical appearance to selfishness involving a sense of entitlement, a lack of empathy, and a need for admiration. Literature is rife with narcissists, as the traits the characters possess create intrigue and drama. For instance, Dorian Gray, King Lear, Machiavelli's prince, even the wizard in The Wizard of Oz are all excellent examples of men with narcissistic personality traits. The catch to writing a narcissist, however, is never really needing to identify your character with the term narcissist. Why? Because the development of a narcissistic character is so much more dramatic if you show your reader just how adoring of oneself your character can be. Let's talk about what the official diagnosis of narcissistic personality disorder looks like. I'm not a doctor. I'm not making a diagnosis. Don't diagnose yourself. Keep in mind, this disorder is rare and only affects about 1% of the population. I'll talk about the more common varieties of narcissism in a moment. There are 9 traits used to diagnose this disorder. A person has to meet 5 out of the 9 to qualify, and these traits can start appearing as early as childhood. Inflated self-esteem or a grandiose sense of self-importance or superiority. Craving admiration. Exploitative relationships that involve manipulation, etc. Little to no empathy. Identity is easily disturbed. They can't handle criticism well. A lack of attachment and intimacy. Feelings of depression or emptiness when not validated. A sense of entitlement. They can also feel like others are envious of them, or they may severely envy others. Environmental factors, especially a person's upbringing, can play a role in narcissistic personality disorder. For example, being excessively praised or overvalued by parents, peers, or teachers can lead to an inflated sense of self-importance and arrogance seen in the disorder. On the other hand, abuse, neglect, and criticism can also be a contributor too, and this may lead to the attention-seeking behaviors that are characteristic of narcissistic personality disorder. Like manipulation and a lack of empathy for others, certain behaviors can also be learned from those around them early on in life. Unfortunately, it can reinforce the personality disorder because it can result in the individual getting what they want. Some characteristics can be inherited, and changes or differences in brain chemistry can lead to the condition's formation as well. If you think your character might make a good clinical narcissist, take into consideration the factors that got him or her there in the first place. That being said, every person has some tendency to behave like a narcissist. There are personality traits that are not diagnosable as a personality disorder. The common factor, however, is an overinflated sense of self and difficulty, meaning healthy interpersonal relationships. Want some ideas for traits that your self-centered, potentially narcissistic character might have? Great, I got you covered. If someone is an overt narcissist or has those tendencies, he or she might come across as outgoing, arrogant, entitled, overbearing, having an exaggerated self-image, needing to constantly be praised and admired, exploitative, manipulative, competitive, and lacking empathy. They may also tend to overestimate their own abilities and intelligence. People with covert narcissism don't fit the same pattern as overt narcissists, but the two are not mutually exclusive. Some people vacillate between covert and overt narcissism. Some common traits of someone with covert narcissism include expressions of low self-esteem, higher likelihood of experiencing anxiety, depression, and shame, introversion, insecurity or low confidence, defensiveness, avoidance, the tendency to feel or play the victim. Antagonistic narcissism is a subtype of overt narcissism. With this aspect of narcissism, the focus is on rivalry and competition. Some features of antagonistic narcissism include arrogance, the tendency to take advantage of others, the tendency to compete with others, disagreeability or proneness to arguing. They have lower trust in others and are less likely to be forgiving. The opposite of antagonistic narcissism is communal narcissism. People with communal narcissism might become easily morally outraged, describe themselves as empathetic and generous, react strongly to things they see as unfair. So what makes communal narcissism different from genuine concern for the well-being of others? The key difference is that for people with communal narcissism, social power and self-importance are playing major roles. For example, while communal narcissism might cause you to say and believe you have a strong moral code or care for others, you might not realize the way you treat others doesn't match up with your beliefs. The last form of narcissism I'm going to mention is malignant narcissism. It's a more severe form and can cause major problems for the person living with it. Someone with malignant narcissism may have many common traits of narcissism, like a strong need for praise to be elevated above others. But in addition, malignant narcissism can show up as vindictiveness, sadism, or getting enjoyment from the pain of others, aggression when interacting with other people, paranoia or heightened worry about potential threats. Someone with malignant narcissism may also share some traits with antisocial personality disorder, which we may cover at a later date. Someone with malignant narcissism could be more likely to experience legal trouble or substance use disorders. I know, that was a lot of information in a short amount of time. Here's what you need to know. Take care when you create your characters. If you think your story would benefit from one of these uniquely crafted beings, then do them justice. Don't call a character a narcissist if they're really just a jerk. Most jerks acknowledge this personality flaw. A narcissist most likely would not, and might even, in turn, blame the person that elicited the rude behavior in the first place. Want clarification on anything I talked about today? Have questions about other topics your characters might deal with? Leave them in the comments below. Looking for resources to make your character's development even better? See my pinned video or follow the link in my profile. And make sure you catch the next video by clicking that follow button.